listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniel Show.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniel Show.
You're listening to The Tom Daniel Show, and I'm your host, Tom Daniel. Today, we are going to do something that's become a little bit of a tradition around here. We're going to take something innocent, familiar, deeply embedded in childhood, and ruin it. No, not exactly. We'll examine it just closely enough to make everybody slightly uncomfortable, clarify it. But today's subject is one of the most deceptively simple nursery rhymes ever written. Jack and Jill. You know it.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after.
And that's it. That is the whole thing. No resolution, no recovery, no moral clarification. Just two children, a hill, a bucket, and what appears to be a shared head injury. This is less a nursery rhyme and more a brief accident report. And like all nursery rhymes, it raises lots of questions. Questions like, why are children hauling water unsupervised? Why is the hill involved at all? And what exactly does it mean to break his crown? Because unless Jack is secretly royalty, something else is going on here. So today we're going to do what we do best. We're going to take this 4-line rhyme and treat it with the same seriousness usually reserved for constitutional law or early jazz. So let's take a look at the obvious, what actually happens in the rhyme. Now, it's not a story, it's an event. There's no setup beyond the first line, no character development, no aftermath, definitely no explanation. Two kids go uphill, one suffers a head injury, and the other follows. End of narrative. Now, if this were submitted as a short story, it'd come back with a note that says, interesting premise. Consider adding literally anything else. But nursery rhymes are not concerned with narrative completeness. They're concerned with memorability, rhythm, repetition, sound. And in that sense, Jack and Jill is extremely efficient. You can learn it in about 10 seconds. You can remember it for life. And you can spend decades not realizing that it is, structurally speaking, about a fall. And not just a fall, a paired fall, which, as we'll see, is important. Now let's address the most confusing line in the entire rhyme. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Now, modern listeners tend to assume this means he hit his head, which is correct. But the phrase crown does not mean a literal object. It refers to the top of the head. This is older English usage. You still see remnants of it in phrases like crown of his head or in medical terminology. So no, Jack is not a king. He's simply concussed. And that actually makes the rhyme more grounded, not less. This is not symbolic violence. It's a very specific physical gravity-based injury. And Jill's response? She comes tumbling right after. No hesitation. No attempt to help the poor guy. No pause for evaluation. Just immediate participation in the exact same mistake. Which raises a subtle but important point. This is not just a fall. This is a sequence. So where did this thing even come from? And no, it's not the French Revolution. This is where the internet gets involved. There are countless theories about Jack and Jill. Some claim it refers to Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Others say it's about King Charles I, or taxation on liquid measures, or some obscure political satire involving beheadings. Let me save you some time here. All of these are incorrect. They are what folklorists politely call after-the-fact interpretations. In other words, people looked at a simple rhyme and decided it must be about something important. because we have a hard time accepting that something this durable could just be simple. Now, the earliest printed version of this thing shows up around 1765 in a little London collection called Mother Goose's Melody. Back then, it was just the one verse. Now, later printings often include additional verses that make things even stranger. I mean, in one version, after the fall, Jack gets patched up with vinegar and brown paper, which was an actual home remedy, apparently. And then he promptly returns to the hill, which suggests that the lesson of the rhyme is not, hey, be careful, but rather, just go ahead and repeat the mistake with confidence. You're listening to The Tom Daniels Show. We'll be right back.
What are you waiting for?
The Tom Daniels Show.
What are you waiting for?
The Tom Daniels Show.
What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show.
Welcome back to the Tom Daniels Show. And Mary Mac has got me wanting to grab a jump rope and go out and do double dutch. Not. Mary Mac is still the world's most perfect band. We've been talking about the nursery rhyme, Jack and Jill, and here's something that tends to get overlooked. Why are they going up the hill to fetch water? I mean, water flows downhill. That's the entire concept of gravity right there. So why is the well at the top? And the answer is surprisingly practical. In many early communities, wells were placed on higher ground to avoid contamination. Drainage mattered. Flooding mattered. Sanitation, such as it was, mattered. So going uphill to fetch water was really not unusual back then. What was unusual was coming down that hill carrying a full pail, because now you've got weight, slope, and momentum, which means this rhyme is not abstract at all. It's describing a very real, very common hazard. Children tasked with labor, navigating uneven terrain, carrying unstable loads. And the result? Loss of footing, followed by impact, followed by a second impact. So why does this thing survive? Why does a rhyme about two kids falling down a hill become such a staple of childhood? Because it fits perfectly into the structure of oral tradition. It is short, rhythmic, easy to remember, and just vivid enough to stick. And more importantly, it operates at a level children understand instinctively. Movement, cause and effect, action and consequence. Go up, fall down. I mean, it's almost mathematical. And like many nursery rhymes, it doesn't need to resolve, because its purpose is not to comfort, it's to imprint, to lodge itself in the memory, to become something you can recall decades later without any effort, which, if you think about it, it's exactly what it does. So now, let's talk about Jill. We haven't talked about her at all, because Jill is not incidental. She's essential. If this were just Jack fell down, then we would definitely have a cautionary tale, but with Jill included, we got something else entirely. We've got us a pattern. Jack falls, Jill follows. This is mirrored motion, paired consequence. And in oral tradition, that kind of symmetry is powerful. It reinforces the rhythm, it reinforces the memory, and it subtly reinforces the idea that what happens to one can happen to another. Not through fate, not through symbolism, just through basic proximity, which is about as realistic as anything in early folk material gets. So what is Jack and Jill really? It's not political satire. It's not coded history. It's not a moral lesson in disguise. It's something much simpler and much older in function. It's a compressed narrative of physical experience. Two kids, one action, one consequence, repeated. It reflects a world where children worked, terrain mattered, and falling was not metaphorical. It was just falling. And like so many nursery rhymes, it survives not because it explains anything, but specifically because it doesn't explain a single thing. It leaves just enough unresolved to stay interesting. So the next time you hear Jack and Jill went up the hill, you'll know a little more about what's actually happening. You'll know that crown really does mean head. You'll know that the hill probably made practical sense. And you'll know that the political theories are, enthusiastic, but unlikely. And you'll know that what you're really hearing is a perfectly efficient piece of oral tradition. Simple, memorable, and just dangerous enough to be interesting. Because sometimes the things that last the longest aren't the ones with the deepest meaning. They're the ones that are the easiest to carry. Even if, like Jack and Jill, they don't always make it back down intact.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Then up Jack got, and off did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper.
Thanks for joining me today on the Tom Daniels Show. Hey, if there's another song, rhyme, or piece of musical folklore you'd like to see gently taken apart and put back together again, let me know. I'd love to hear it, because I really, really like doing this. This has been the Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening and keep learning.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show.
Take a break from your usual routine and tune into the Tom Daniels Show. You'll discover the world of melodies and stories that you might not know.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show.
What are you waiting for?
The Tom Daniels Show.
What are you waiting for?
The Tom Daniels Show.
What are you waiting for? The Tom